way up. There we go. Right, we're going live now.
Sure, we are, tease.
And we're live. It's been an interesting mess trying to get live. Me knocking a pint over. Jan patiently waiting. So thank you, Jan, for putting up with that. So I tried to sort everything out. Just about to go live I did a sound test, realised not plug my microphone in. So a very good start to the stream. However, this is the Wrestling Headlines Wrestle Kingdom 15 Night 2 review. I am joined once again by Jan Man from Kingdom of Honor. How are you doing, Jan, at 6 a.m. your time?
Well, I was just telling you off the air, I actually feel less tired now than I did a day ago when we were doing this. So, yeah, doing good. I thought the last, especially the last 5 matches of tonight, like really felt like the last 5 matches of a Wrestle Kingdom show. So that was pretty awesome.
It properly kicked into Wrestle Kingdom gear, and we will be starting with the main event match of Kota Ibushi versus Jay White for the double championships. However, we'll as we always do, we talk about our overall feelings of the show as a whole. And again, like last night, I feel like it did a much better job of building to the main event, because last night was a lot of good than 2 amazing matches. Whilst I felt a progression throughout this show. And obviously a massive jump to the main event, but I won't hold that against the rest, given what the main event was like. But yeah, I really liked the progression of the show. I feel like this was much better than Night 1, even though we both highly rated Night 1. I feel like this was Wrestle Kingdom. And this really felt like it. And by the end, you're knackered, but in the best way possible. You've been on a journey with all the rest of the wrestling fans. It's been an amazing night. It just reminds you why you love watching New Japan Pro Wrestling, especially. But yeah, might as well I'm a fan. Why they're my number one.
You know, if I think back to like the first few, WrestleMania, or not WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdoms I saw live, it was Wrestle Kingdom 9, and then it was Wrestle Kingdom 10, and 10 is kind of like my gold standard. So, like when I think about like the last 4 matches on a show, they've got to at least, come close to measuring up to Omega versus Ibushi, and then AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, and Ishii versus why can't I think of my favorite wrestler of all time's name? Maybe
Shibata.
Yeah, Shibata, and then of course Tanahashi versus Okada. So when I can see a show that comes close to equivalenting that, then I'm really happy. And tonight's show I think did a great job of that.
Yeah, I feel like, because someone was making the point that this is the first Wrestle Kingdom main event without Tanahashi or Okada in it since Tanahashi started main eventing, which is kind of a mental stat that they passed it over to Okada and then he took on the main event mantle. This is the first one without either of them, and it really steps up. It really, really delivered it. They gave them the time. They beat the record for the longest Wrestle Kingdom main event ever. Jay White really got to show what he has become on the biggest stage possible. Switchblade a clock, motherfuckers. I PG'd myself at the last second. I was going to do it, and then the YouTube knowledge kicked in. I'll say that's my Irish blood making me say feckers instead. But yeah, an amazing match. And an amazing overall build for the show. Might as well kind of... I don't know. I don't really want to just keep broadly talking about it. Last night we did quite a lengthy talk to see the overall feeling of the show, but my mind is just on the main event, which is kind of a case in point of how good it was. It's like I just want to talk about the main event. That's what I'm thinking about. So I guess we'll jump right into it. Kota Ibushi versus Jay White for both the IWGP Heavyweight and IWGP Intercontinental Championships. First note: this is too many abs for the week after Christmas. I'm making my self-esteem watching those two. It's like, they're not just in good shape. Like I think the phrase in the West is getting in WrestleMania shape, where you've got your flashy gear, you're all tanned up, you've got as many abs as you've ever had in your life. It's just both these two were in incredible shape, and it really hit me watching them like one after the other come out. Like we all know about Kota Ibushi, like he's going for God kind of levels. But Jay White, he's getting up there. Like, he's in insane shape. It's Jay White. It's just, It hit
Yeah,
me.
yeah, and it seems like that happened with like all the guys that were stuck over in the U.S. during COVID from New Japan. It seems like they all hit the gym together and just got themselves all in ridiculous shape. I mean, look at Chase Owens, look at David Finlay, and even look at the God. I mean, everybody that was over here got themselves in super shape before going back over there.
I will apologise sound-wise. I've got a Coke again, but for some reason today I can't figure out how to drink it without my moustache just making a noise every time it brushes up against the can. So you probably hear that on the audio. It's a new problem. I'll see how it goes. But yeah,
Straw, get a straw.
that's genius. It's genius. I'll remember that for next time. But yeah, so in the in the run to Wrestle Kingdom, the thing that made me like so unsure who was going to win this match, in the run to Wrestle Kingdom, all of Jay White's predictions came true. It was like this would be kind of the final point for that. However, as we were like pretty much just saying yesterday, the thing that maybe certified it was Ibushi only won the double championships like less than 24 hours ago. So the likelihood of him dropping them was pretty low, aside from the fact that Jay White had like all his predictions had come true. Like he had Ibushi's number time after time again, and he saw it in this match. Both men kind of took it in turns to have the other person's number. They just couldn't put them away. It built to an incredible level. And other quick notes, like I'm all for Jay White trying to goad the crowd into chanting during a pandemic. Such a heel. I love it. Like A plus shit talking. It's just also I noticed a few other people who noticed it as well. There was just a lad at ringside holding a microphone, like making sure we caught all of it. So that was great to see as well. And in terms of the match itself, mental spots from Ibushi. That man is crazy. That was expected. Just like landing on his neck within the first 5 minutes, and they went for 48. It's just like a case in point. For me, a pretty scary one was when Jay bounced him like stomach first on the ropes before Ibushi then just crashed really awkwardly just onto his neck and head back into the ring. Even like that, there you could audibly hear Jay White asking the referee, like, is he good? Like, is he going to be sick or not? Like, can I do the next bit? Which was, yeah. So that was a bit of a scary one. And like the match itself, that was kind of like the first half I'll call the awakening, and the second half was Murder Bushi awoken. So we saw the debut of that like last year. And in this match was like you're aware of it, so we'll wake him up with about 20 minutes left in the match. Like, I'm sorry, what? It's just
Yeah, I thought about that coming into this. I was like, we did not see Murder Ibushi last night, so we're gonna see him tonight.
Yeah, and I like that they played on the fact that we knew that, and they did that so early in the match that Jay White. You have another act after Murder Ibushi awakens. So, like in terms of playing off the fact we were expecting it, well done, just A plus. Like really, really good work. And I guess my favourite part of that was when he was asking the Kiwi to fight back and strike him. Like, come on, hit me on the neck. Come on, do it. And then Jay just instead lays down and begs for the pin. Like, no more, just no more. But he's just goading Ibushi into no murder striking him till Red Shoes steps in and he can low blow him. It's just getting over Jay White's smartness as well. Like knowing he's going to get like punched in the head over and over, but it will create an opening and opportunity. Which then led to like a minute later, Jay White is shouting "fuck you" as he slams Kota into the barricade, ring apron, ring post, ramp, whatever. Really enjoyed that. Kenny described that as physically dismantling Kota Ibushi, and that was after the god had awoken, which was awesome. And then we got our nice little deadlift German sequence as the 35-minute mark passed. Jay White with some mighty deadlift Germans. But we reached that point where both lads were so knackered they just couldn't capitalise. And it was Ibushi who won the deadlift battle with his one dragging White up off the apron and back into the ring over the top rope. Still as awesome as ever. And at this point, where they're so knackered, I'm assuming you were the same. It was just like, surely we're going to like kick into like a quick 5-minute sequence and it will end. Both guys are out of it. Like, how could they possibly win with 35 minutes in? I've got no idea when the ending's coming.
Yeah, there was that spot where Ibushi hit he hit Kamigoye, and there was the kick out by White, and then he goes for the Phoenix Splash on the top rope. With that, I think about which I think it was right around that mark, right around the 35-minute mark, and he hits it, and you're thinking, well, that's it, and then Gato pulls the referee out of the ring right before the 3 count, and at that point I thought, okay, they might just got a little bit too cute for me here. Because really that was like the perfect, if this was WrestleMania, that would have been like the perfect like main event win, right? And then but then we see what happens at the end, how basically just Ibushi just ends up murdering him anyway, even though Murder Ibushi is gone, but he just like destroys White at the end and gets that victory, and you're like, God damn it.
Like another bit, I think it was after that where he'd done the whole Gato thing. You're convinced that he just won. I think Chris Charlton had said they just passed 40 minutes, and that's when Ibushi hits a Phoenix Splash like the insane competitor that he is. But the thing that really sold it for me was when Jay White was trying to get Ibushi to tap, and he just had the legs locked and was, I wouldn't say screaming, it was more begging at Ibushi just to please quit, please.
Yeah.
And I was like, just at that moment I was like, this is fantastic. This is just so good. In that just like desperate exhaustion of it, and it's like, what have I got to do? And kind of from both men as well, because Jay White kept countering Kota. It took him a lot of times to hit the Kamigoye, and like even the V-trigger got caught into a Regal Plex. That was smooth and awesome. And he followed that up with a Bloody Sunday, but White couldn't follow that up with his Blade Runner because V-trigger out of nowhere. And after that bit where it was Kota fighting back, the crowd were clapping the loudest they have all night. And this is about 45 minutes into a main event of a 3-4 hour show. It tells you something. And White was desperately, when Kota lifted him up with his arm, and White was desperately trying to kick him away, but you knew what was coming, as Jan put it. Like, Kota was about to murder that man. and Jay White knew it. He's just, like, final desperations.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't say it was like a kick, like they're amping up like Hogan to get back in. It was more desperation. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. He hurt him. And Kota Ibushi won after a brutal Kamigoye to the back of the head. After Jay White tried to counter into the Blade Runner, and then rolled through, and Kota hit him with a reverse Kamigoye to the back of the head, then pulls down the knee pad, hits him with a proper Kamigoye, 1, 2, 3. Jesus Christ. Over 48 minutes, it's the longest Wrestle Kingdom main event in history. And one final note, which is kind of similar to yesterday, where White with no energy, like a minute or so after the bell and Kota's celebrating, he has no energy and he's trying to get to his feet and get at Kota. He's so out of it, he doesn't know the match is finished. It's like, I really like that detail. Because yesterday I was a bit like, he looked a bit out of it, Kota, but Jay White did it a bit better. I guess they kind of painted it a bit like Inoki used to do, where it's like, how have I possibly? Still going at it. I really love that detail, and an amazing. I'm assuming you're just as high on this match as I am.
Yeah, it was super good. It was really, really good. And the other part of that you were just talking about was that Wade was like grasping for those belts before that, even like he was grasping, and he tried to grab the heavyweight title, and Red Shoes is like, no, it's not yours, pulls it away. And then he grasps for the Intercontinental title, and Red Shoes just pulls it away from him. He's like looking up like, what? And then he goes after Ibushi. So it's just like, it was he was trying so hard not only to beat Ibushi, but to get those grasp on those titles that he had said he was going to get, and just didn't work out for him. Yeah.
Really,
yeah.
It's just
I feel like that last, like I said, at that when he hit that Phoenix Splash, I thought they might have got too cute for me. But then the way that I felt like that soaring feeling in my gut with the end of it, that definitely a 5-star match.
Yeah, for me, it's left me with that Wrestle Kingdom buzz, which is just something special where you're just so amped about what you have just seen, and it's that exact mood where 100% you're gonna be entering yet again that New Japan versus WWE or American stuff. Did they do New Japan versus AW now? I don't know if that's a thing. I don't get the brand loyalty. I don't do that. So I find it weird. But yeah, it's just because you've seen something so good, it just gets you amped, and you can't wait just to like talk about it and enthuse about it with like other people on Twitter as well. It's such an amazing match. Again, if you're listening to this and for some reason haven't watched the show as you're tuning into this, they've delivered a instant classic. Ibushi vs Jay White is up there, easy 5 stars. I wouldn't be surprised if you get the other talk of Meltzer giving it more than 5 stars, just because they nailed this match, and then the final New Japan classic fashion, the final 10 minutes are something else. There is like nothing else like it in wrestling. And this main event delivered it. Really, an incredible match. It's great. It's great to see 2 brand new main event talents essentially do that.
And then we get kind of a mirror image of the end of last year's Wrestle Kingdom, where end of last year's Wrestle Kingdom, Naito has the double gold, and out comes a blindsiding Kenta. to just nail him and kill the celebration, and basically take away the chance for the roll call, and the main celebration for Naito finally getting that win on the big stage. And this time around, out comes a very classy Sanada to issue the challenge for the future, and then we still get the big celebration from Ibushi. So another a great way to end it as well that way.
I like Sanada out there all suave in his suit. That's to respectfully make a challenge, compared to last year where it was Kenta attacking to boos and people moaning on social media. Just because he all did. Sanada
actually just said, will you please give me the gift of a shot at your championships?
That could not be more opposite. As in, God, would you please give me this honour? I shall, Padawan. I've mixed up my role. Still, it's polar opposite to before, and then he let Kota Ibushi get his moment and celebrate after. I want to say that's pretty common in New Japan. I feel like this time, in terms of keeping people invested in the product, their hand may be a little bit forced, purely because of what's happening in Japan in terms of coronavirus right now, where they were doing well enough to be able to hold 2 11,000 plus matches at the Tokyo Dome, which obviously, looking at our own countries, that's mental. My country went into lockdown last night, so it's the polar opposite.
Did they? I didn't know.
So proper lockdown again. But with the Japan's numbers are going up, so it's uncertain, and both of them made sure to mention that they are in a time of uncertainty. So they didn't give a date for this match. Like quite often they're a bit ambiguous, but you're like, but it's going to happen at New Beginning. This time they were banging home like it's uncertain, but whenever we're back, we will do this match. And that's why I feel like their hand might have been a little bit forced of, well, we'll tell them what's coming next. We can't tell them when though, because of what's going to happen. Because there's a high chance of another lockdown, but
yeah, it's unfortunate that we got another surge going on at the time when the vaccines are not coming out as quickly as they were supposed to be coming out. Neither producing nor distributing. So that's just it's not great right now.
You can thank us for that. It's the UK's gift to the rest of the world. Just we've got this new strain and it's highly infectious, and we're not going to shut down travel. So Merry Christmas. Thank you, UK. But in terms Ibushi signed us out as he can finally declare, "I have become God," and then he poses very kind of limply, goes up to the corner to pose with his double championships. An awesome sight after an amazing match. That was his, I guess I want to say, crowning moment as a pillar of New Japan, because he pretty much was a pillar anyway. Because they like their 3 Musketeers or something like that of like each generation. And Kota Ibushi was like the unofficial third one of the Okada Naito kind of era. It's nice to see him fully crowned in that, because he's the same age as Naito. Like you wouldn't know it looking at them, but they are the same age. So I don't know how many years Ibushi's got going at this level, but it's good to see him have a match like this with a guy under 30 in Jay White.
I thought the same thing when they said that Jeff Cobb and Shingo were the same age. I'm like, really? Cobb looks so much younger than Shingo.
I think I took the piss a little bit in my preview for the Never match. Well, I think I wrote Jeff Cobb pulling his power from the grey tuft in his beard, and Shingo from the hair dye, because they are both like New Japan Dad age. They're just big beefy men. So yeah, it's quite. Yeah, we'll get to that match in a tad because we've got two before it. So yesterday we went up the card in reverse order, and it worked. You go from the most hyped to the least hyped, so it works quite well. So I've realised I've not actually scrolled down, so I can click it. The next match is Taiji Ishimori versus Hiromu Takahashi, and we'll just put it out there. My internet screwed me over for the second half of this show, apart from the main event. So I caught all of the main event, but I was having numerous constant issues throughout, especially... So Jan's going to have to do the heavy lifting on SANADA EVIL, because I just didn't see it, which kind of sucks. I'll have to go back and watch it. I saw what I thought was the first half, and by the time I got back, SANADA was hitting the final moonsault. So oh, okay. So I know who won and how, but I have not seen the match. But for Taiji Hiromu, I was having to... my internet just kept dying. I just had to keep swapping it between Ethernet and wireless. For some reason that worked. But first notes on Ishimori versus Hiromu. Ishimori with a little blonde flappy bit. That's an interesting choice of hairdo, I guess, on Ishimori for this one. Hiromu with a whole lot of crazy, because it's Hiromu. And one thing I really liked about this match was that, yes, they did a lot of your really quick counters and your junior style, but there was a lot more strikes and I guess ruggedness to this one. And I think I really liked that this match brought that something different. They nailed that kind of more rugged vibe whilst also still doing that junior quick pace.
Yeah, I did too. And and I thought watching this match, we've got, Hiromu is obviously the star of this division. And then you've got the up and coming star in El Desperado, and then you've got the flamboyant kind of showy guy in ELP. But I think that maybe the best overall wrestler and definitely the smoothest guy in this division is actually Ishimori. So it was kind of fun to see that style. We have kind of anchored this match and give like you said, that's you got to slow down the pace, a minute more rugged, and that kind of allowed Hiromu to do his more spectacular spots in an environment that showcased them more than I think it even would against somebody like Dragon Lee, for instance.
Yeah, because sometimes in the Dragon Lee Hiromu matches you lose that essence, I guess, of... Taiji Ishimori was tactically he was having Hiromu's number and he was controlling, and Hiromu was having to fight back quite smartly. And
exactly.
You don't always get that with Dragon Lee Hiromu. The matches are amazing. Don't get me wrong with those two. But yeah, this one, it gave something different. And to be fair, in the junior style, you often are lacking what this match gave, where there is just that rugged feel to it, which really, really helped. I've got a few, I guess, comical notes. So the LIJ man looked smart for a minute at the start, learning from yesterday's Sunset Powerbomb spot, and countering Ishimori, pretty much just trying to repeat what ELP did yesterday. Countering the Bullet Club lad with a bomb of his own onto the apron. It's really smart, Hiromu, well done. Only smart for a minute, because after that, he went for the world's longest dropkick run up all the way up the ramp, running all the way down to just take a bump on the angly bit. You weird man, Hiromu. Just charging all the way down with a grin on his face, just to get weirdly kind of halted onto the slope. So yeah,
yeah. For those of you guys who didn't see it, he did if you think of the Al Snow Rob Van Dam match from Hardcore Heaven '97, I think it is, where Al Snow goes all the way to the back and then runs down the ramp, hits a clothesline. Same kind of idea, except for this time he went for a drop kick and got caught into a side suplex.
It's just. It was. I don't know if it meant to make me laugh, but it was just the over the top nature of the run up and everything. It just made me laugh. And yeah, you're damn right. Ishimori capitalised off of that, as he should have. The numpty of the match now having to spend the whole next while fighting back in. It's yes, he did a silly thing which cost him, But the heel capitalised on it and controlled the match afterwards because of that stupid run-up thing. So I liked that afterwards Ishimori was like, well, I'm obviously going to capitalise on that, you idiot. So I did really like that. And yeah, the champion was wearing him down as Hiromu tried to counter his way back in. Launching the Bullet Club lad overhead seemed to work into the corner turnbuckles or whatever he could find. Just don't run off the ropes or handspring. Again, another lesson in a junior match where whenever they tried to kick up the pace, the other one was there just to slam them back down again. It helped show why they would resort to that more rugged nature because both of them were cancelling out each other's athletic stuff. So yeah, I really like that. Like Hiromu with an awesome German and Ishimori with a destroyer. There's no rest in this one. Ishimori though, he was the one brutally laying in the forearms, like crashing Takahashi down onto his knee afterwards as well. But then wearing him down afterwards by spinning into the yes lock. He's like, you really felt that nature of Ishimori in control, and Hiromu was like, you felt like Hiromu was in danger purely because Ishimori was so in control and so free to just land in those forearm shots. And Hiromu tried to take it too. Like the nice note for me on that was Hiromu then tried to amp up, like you see in the Never style, that right, it's now time for the other guy to hit the forearms. He hit one and Ishimori just decked him. Just back down he went. Yeah, I really like that, this little note. And the counters from Taiji, because like Hiromu is the star of the division. I'm assuming he'll get a lot of the plaudits again. But as Jan's already raised, like the counters from Taiji was so quick and so smooth. Like in an instant, he could just be there hitting his finisher, which is exactly what happened. Like for so long, he completely had Hiromu's number, and even when Hiromu tried to counter, he just caught him again, and seemingly so smoothly just rolled through and hit the bloody cross. It's just like, oh, that's well done. And
yeah, and you know the thing is that what really contributed, I think, to the drama of this match, where you're thinking Hiromu was going to end up losing, is we've already seen him tap out to that yes lock before, you know, back in Shingo Stadium. So when he was struggling twice in that, and it looked like he wasn't going to be able to make it to the ropes, you really thought, yeah, this is over, or yeah, he's going to have to call it because he's just not going to be able to survive, especially after taking so much punishment to his limbs last night from ELP. You know, he just can't do it, but he did struggle through, and then finally, you know, come back.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. The two countered and twisted, and Hiromu finally won out with a modified Victory Royal, which is essentially a fancy flatliner. And what must have been the 6th or 7th attempt, Hiromu crashed Ishimori down with the Time Bomb 2 for the win. Over 25 minutes, which is quite incredible. Like how they went that long at that pace is a marvel. For 25 minutes at that pace, that's crazy. Yeah. Also, a nice little note was, I think this was nice. I saw people a bit split on was it nice or not. The turnbuckle exposed the entire match after SANADA and EVIL. It was just there, like, the entire time. And Hiromu was eventually the guy who powered Ishimori into them and followed up for the finish. But yeah, I thought there was like a nice little continuity thing of, like the turnbuckle pad's still not on. But then they did put it on. It
was a different turnbuckle pad.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well,
Kevin Kelly even said during the match that while Hiromu was on the ground writhing after that side suplex, that Ishimori had come in and taken the turnbuckle pad off and throw it out of the ring.
Oh, right. See, because, again, I'll blame my internet on that one. I got a very different story. Because I just didn't see it.
No, it was the blue turnbuckle pad that was off in the Naito, I'm sorry, in the EVIL SANADA match, not the white ones. So.
Right, so scratch my praise then. It wasn't a continuity from one match to the next. But still, it was Hiromu who capitalised off it. Often that happens, though. The heel tries to set up a dirty deed, and it's the hero who actually uses it against him. And the nice thing with that was the Time Bomb 1 wasn't enough. It's like, we saw this last of Wrestle Kingdom. Now it's time for Time Bomb 2. But that's when Ishimori just wouldn't stop bloody countering. And he wears him down with the yes locks. Is he going to win? Because he's trying to go for it, but he keeps bloody counting him. Eventually got Time Bomb 2. Another really, really good match.
So what did you think at the end when Hiromu said, we're going to be in the main event next time around or something like that? I mean, I just can't see that ever happening where the junior heavyweights are the main event of Tokyo Dome.
I mean, this isn't the first time it's been teased, because Will Ospreay and Shingo were pushing for their rematch to be a Wrestle Kingdom main event after how hot their Best of the Super Juniors match was.
Okay.
But so it's not the first time, and obviously it didn't happen then, so I won't hold my breath. But they've got a whole year, and Hiromu is incredibly popular in Japan. Like, he is insanely over. He's part of LIJ, which is LIJ again. We're saying I don't know how the evil splits affected them, but maybe it's got more support for Hiromu over the course of that. But yeah, he is insanely over. So if somebody's going to do it, he could be the guy. Like, he generally could do it if they can maintain that level and just keep building him up to next year. Doesn't mean they will. It's just, I do kind of agree that 2 heavyweight championship matches, like one after the other, it gives really good matches. But maybe just giving us one, like, long term, if you keep giving us 2, like, the novelty might wear off. So if you try and think of a way where you don't have to have the heavyweight title main event both nights, it's like, yeah, why not? Because of course the answer was the IC title, but because they've merged, that doesn't exist anymore. So I guess the junior one might make sense. Like, why not? You got 2 nights.
Yeah, that I keep wondering whether they're ever going to separate those belts out again. I guess we'll have to see what they do, because they had talked about Naito wanted to defend them both separately, but now Naito isn't the champion. So I guess we'll see what. And then and Kota seems to be happy to be both the strongest and the best. So I guess we'll have to see what they do with that going forward. I also, but yeah, I mean, you're right, because if they were to do something like Wrestle Kingdom 8 where they have a vote, like, do you want to see the heavyweight title main event or the junior heavyweight title main event? And these are 2 choices for a match. Then people might vote for the junior heavyweight just because Hiromu's in there.
Because again, he's that popular.
Right.
And then he can do an awesome story where Hiromu won the vote and Naito lost it, and they can build a little angst in there. It's like, ooh, the New Japan brain starts twirling. Right, so before this one, we had our third from bottom match, because we're going in reverse. It's messing me up. Our 4th match of the night was SANADA versus EVIL, the LIJ Blood Feud, or as it played out, SANADA plays against EVIL's shenanigans. As I should have expected it to play out like that, to be fair. That's on me. Sticking to both guys kind of sticking to their styles since the splits, with SANADA being calm whilst his stablemate pulled out every trick in the book. Dick Togo at ringside aiding the lad all the way. When one thing I did like is when they got in a genuine sequence of contest, the 2 endlessly countered. So then they would resort to something else, or EVIL would then go to the tricks. I really, really like that being in the match, because it kind of gave a reason for EVIL to then do the tricks, other than because he's evil. It's like, no, yeah, they tried to straight up wrestle each other, and they just countered each other over and over and over. Like, they're so in tune with one another that it took something else. So I like that. Like, EVIL was the one bringing the animosity, as SANADA just kept at his usual cool self. He never amped up, and even Rocky, at one point during the match, was just shouting at him to get angry. And
yes, he was.
Show emotion. But that's not SANADA. His entire thing is when he's under the cosh, when he's under that environment, he always stays calm. He never shows that emotion. And I don't know if that can make it difficult for a fan to latch onto him, but clearly it's working. If you've seen how hot the Japanese crowd's getting into him, it's like, maybe that separates him. Because he always stays cool. And it was our baddie with a long string of offense, but his partner eventually swung right back in with a mighty Wrestle Kingdom backdrop. So SANADA brought it with the moves when he did hit them. But so EVIL was the one showing the emotion of the moment. And this is when my laptop lost internet. Finally got back in, SANADA fought back, and my laptop crashed. So yeah, I completely missed it.
Yeah, you're talking about, it may be hard for fans to, catch on to him. I don't know if you know this or not, but SANADA is actually my favorite New Japan Pro Wrestling performer.
We must have talked about that.
He is my very favorite wrestler in New Japan, and he has been for some time. Even when Kenny was there, SANADA was still my favorite. And so to see him for the 2nd year in a row getting a a big singles match. Last year he faced ZSJ for the British Heavyweight Championship. This year he got the big grudge match against Evil. It was nice to see him in that spot, but at the same time, I was like watching this, and when I saw him explode on Evil on the night of um, the World Tag League, the World Tag League finals. I mean, they weren't in the finals, but they had a match that night, and Evil started his shenanigans, and then SANADA just said, "You know what? Fuck you." And he finally just went nuts on him. He dived out of the ring on top of him, threw him into the barricade like 4 times, and then he was just pounding the shit out of him on the inside while Shingo was taking care of um, Tokyo Pimp on the inside. And then once the match was over, then we again saw SANADA was just pounding. Like, he just got in the mount position. He was pounding the hell out of Evil. Like, you don't see that in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and you never see something like that from SANADA. But it felt like he finally just had enough of Evil's crap, and I was kind of expecting that coming into this match, like. He'd have that fire in him again. So I was kind of like Rocky, like, come on, man, get angry. And but you're like, he didn't, and that in a sense made this match feel like very awkward, because on one hand you've got one guy doing everything he can to win, cheating and everything. On the other hand, you've got a guy that refuses to throw a punch, refuses to rise to it, and so it's like you've got. Half the match is a grudge match, and the other half is a technical wrestling match, and it was very, very weird. But then at the same time, you think about it, and you're like, he's Cold Skull. That's his entire gimmick, like you said, is that he doesn't get emotional. He doesn't have that fire. He just out wrestles the guy, and he wants to stick to his game plan. So I feel like it made the match awkward, but I also felt like by the end of it, SANADA had got his comeuppance, because he had found a way to get Togo through the table, push through the table by drop kicking Evil into him, and he had found a way to counter Evil going for everything is evil by switching around at everything is evil, and then finally hitting his moonsault to get the victory. So it really was something where. He was able to overcome the evil of Evil and the betrayal of Evil, but not have to not be himself in order to do it. So I do think it worked out really well, and it was a really nice showcase for the fact that maybe the best technical wrestler in the promotion won the match without even having to throw a single punch or use a chair or anything like that. He just he basically like just wrestled his own stuff the way he always does, and we've seen him have how many 5-star matches against Okada doing that, but he does that. He does the same thing here against Evil, and he doesn't have to be the emotional, like you said. Evil was bringing it all because he had to, and SANADA was just like, so he was almost indifferent to Evil's antics, but at the same time, he did put out Togo. He did. Hit Evil with his own move, and he did finally get that big pinfall victory over Evil with the moonsault. So a bit awkward at times, I felt, but if you think about it, it really does play into who these guys are.
And one thing I really like about the Evil SANADA dynamic, and they brought it up on commentary for like the 5 minutes I was able to watch, but it was how, like, since Evil has left LIJ, there's just this sense of like unconfidence in him, and well, as in he needs to fall back on the cheating stuff to actually get to that level, because SANADA's the better wrestler,
right?
Or isn't that's in his head type of thing, and you see that in action as Evil is trying to do all those things, and SANADA just stays himself, is never affected, and that just makes Evil angrier. So I really like that character dynamic between the two, and
because Evil had. Right, because Evil had to leave LIJ to not be the 4th best guy in LIJ. And now he's... and then he got the double gold, but ever since then he's been on this downward trajectory, so now he is not even... is he the number 2 guy in Bullet Club? Is he number 3? Is he number 4? Where is he even in Bullet Club now? It's crazy.
Yeah, like, when you look at it now, it's like, where does he actually fit? Because Jay White is... And after that performance, Jay White's not going to be... like, not the Bullet Club leader. Sure, I mean, New Year's Dash is tomorrow, We'll see. There's always there's always the chance you're going to get your next Bullet Club leader crossover. However, surely after a performance like that, you're not going to get the club turn on him. So where does Evil fit? Because we've not really seen Evil and Jay White together. The only times we have is when there's been like a bit of cheeky animosity, and after like Jay White during the G1 was just slagging off Evil like the whole time, which I thought was hilarious. But you've not seen them interact like just as a club within vicinities of each other, so it's a little bit interesting.
Not at all, and you may have noticed that Bullet Club did not have a very good night.
A record like Empire's record. Just complete loss. Only God at least won their tag titles, so at least they have that. But I feel that's a nice transition to the Empire, as they had a loss, but in another war of a match. It's weird. It feels weird now to think back how I was feeling after just watching Takagi Cobb because of the battle we saw between White and Ibushi. But Takagi and Cobb, they had a never open weight war. As soon as I was watching this, just like, I don't think I'll ever tire of New Japan's never battles and wars that they have at Wrestle Kingdom. This was yet another amazing one to the pile. As the New Japan Big Daddies clash, like beefs on the grill, boys. This was an amazing match.
It was. Did you have the same feeling I did, where I watched this and I was like, this might be another time like Shibata versus Ishii, where the never match steals the show and ends up being the best match on the show. But it didn't quite end up being that. But it was really a spectacular battle between these two. And there were times in this thing where like Cobb was throwing Taz plexes. I swear to God, they weren't suplexes; they were Taz plexes. Maybe they should be called Cobb plexes at this point.
He's getting to that level. Yeah. And like for me, the incredible thing is this is the first Wrestle Kingdom singles match for both men. Like, Jesus, did they bring it as well? Like, debuting in style in singles competition at the show. And like, obviously they're both like, if I'm right, towards 40. So they're not young. They're not young chaps. They've got plenty of experience, which is why they were as good as they are. I mean, the other one's Shingo, who's been amazing his entire career. But like, forearming each other in the face right from the bell, like, yep, this is the never title. Because on paper it looks amazing. In the build, it kind of built up this expectation of we're going to get a never war. And then immediately from the bell, it's like, oh, yes, we're getting exactly that. I could not be happier. Yep. Like big boy suplexes and power kickouts, stiff strikes as neither tree falls. Upping the ante as the two question what it would take. Shingo jumping first with the big boy tope over the top. Again, immediately, like within the first 5 minutes or so, you're seeing them like just try other things because they immediately realise it's going to take something special. And like we've already hit on it, but Jeff Cobb looked fantastic in this. Like wicking out big moves like the Razor's Edge powerbomb, which will never not be impressive, or the Black Tiger bomb, as Rocky called it. Shingo throwing everything at him as the Hawaiian kept asking for more. The lads launched each other about as the crowd clapped louder and louder. Rocky proclaiming that this is a big boy battle. As they were just launching each other with like no regard. Like ragdolling. It's just across the ring. Or as Dan put it, Cobb plexes as well.
I was going to say, and Cobb even hit that moonsault power slam too on that, on that one spot, which I was like, whoa, wow. I was like, was Shingo do a tope con hilo, and now we saw Cobb do a moonsault power slam.
It's just the fact that they, like, especially with Cobb's moonsault, the fact that came like so much later in the match when it's in that vein of what do I have to do. Where like they've already forearmed each other so hard that they're in their like strike exchanges that they both just collapsed, and Shingo just makes the count back in. Like they've done that beforehand. Then you're getting your moonsault power slam, which is just like, it's amazing kind of run of sequences as well. And
then there was that great false finish too, where Cobb hits the Tour of the Islands.
Yes.
But another part of the of them going to something they don't usually do is that Shingo had hit a knee clip on Cobb and done a little bit of damage to his knee, which he doesn't normally do, earlier in the match. And so when Cobb hit that Tour of the Islands, he came up limping on his leg and he wasn't able to make the cover right away. And by the time he did, Shingo's foot was already on the rope. The ref caught it. He pulled them away, but of course, there was the kick out, and he just could not win with his finishing move.
And the amount of times Shingo amped up, ready to go for the pumping bomber, only for Jeff Cobb to do something insane. It's just great. It's some form of thing. Be it a simple, powerful forearm or the headbutt or something, or a moonsault power slam. The amount of times where... Because if he hits a pumping bomber, then he can go for Made in Japan. And when he just hit Made in Japan, he hit it once, it was not exactly cleanly, but yes, an amazing ending sequence as well. Eventually, the Dragon was able to hit a mighty Uranagi. I think it was a Uranagi, he gently lifted him and kind of span around for it. Finally had Cobb groggy, finally hit the pumping bomber to turn him inside out, followed up with the Made in Japan, and Shingo retains. On Amazing, it looked... Oh, it's not on Amazing. On paper, it looked amazing. But these two brought the Never War for sure. 100% worth your time. Amazing match.
And I love what Kevin Kelly said at the end, too, and I felt exactly the same way. He's like, I don't get to book for this company, but if I did, I would, I'm just going to beg them right now. They need to book a rematch between these two either sooner or sooner.
They did it with Ishii versus Shibata. New beginning, go again. Amazing match. Yeah, really good. And this seemed to wake everybody up as well. It's like from this point, the entire show was just seemingly like hit after hit after hit. And
exactly.
And I feel like that's what the first night was missing, was the big boy fight. Just to wake everybody up. Right, Wrestle Kingdom. That's what the longer, when it was just one show, when you got to the Never title, you knew it was business. And yeah, this show had that. So, amazing match.
Yeah, because night one wasn't it the first match back from the, or no? What was the match what was the match right before the break on the first show?
Oh, I can open up my Microsoft Word document on it. It was Dangerous Tekkers versus God.
Okay, yeah, and that match was good, but it wasn't. But it didn't have this kind of, like you said, it didn't fire up the crowd the way this one did. And then you come back with Tanahashi versus the Great Okan, and you're like, wah wah. so really, it was only those last two matches on night one, and then by the time that was over, by the time those two matches were over, so was the show, So
yeah, and it hits the Wrestle Kingdom vein, and it just woke everybody up. Amazing match. Especially if you're a fan of the New Japan Strong Style, seek this one out. If you're like Big E and you like your meat slapping meat, two big sweaty men fighting clashing against each other, this is the match for you. Really, really good. Jeff Cobb. It's great to see Jeff Cobb get that kind of stage as well, because he's not really had it before, and to get a showcase like this is like, he's finally getting the plaudits for how amazing he is. I'm one of those nerds that obviously watched him on the indie scene and just fell in love quickly. He's really, really talented.
Right.
The IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships were on the line before that. Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado versus Vaisuke. I said that weirdly. Vaisuke Taguchi and Master Wato. Tenzan was also there at ringside. Wasn't effective, but he was there. Wato flying out from the get-go. Was a great I can't speak anymore. Wato flying out with from the get-go with a great sense of fire, like twisting over the top with a corkscrew tope, crashing down onto Despy, before he then tagged out to Taguchi for a different kind of offense. And cue the Suzuki Gun shenanigans as well. Like, no fear, the Buns of Steel eventually got their usage, but this is when Suzuki Gun got on in a lot of offense. Wato looked great in this, like impressively assured athleticism. Like the growth that he has had from his debut, his quizzical debut, I'll call it, to now, where he feels like an assured performer. Yeah, he was in a tag team. He was in a losing effort in a junior tag match, but like as an overall performer, he feels so much more assured now.
He does. He's had some time to. He's had some reps now. He's had reps in the junior tag tournament, in the 6-man tag tournament, in the in the Best of the Super Juniors. So he's finally got some ground under him. Whereas I think I think part of it was also he was coming in with a lack of confidence because all you heard about Kawada in when he was wrestling for CMLL was how bad he was. People were worried about him coming back over. But at the same time, I didn't feel that way simply because it's a completely different style. He was trained in the New Japan style, and to try to adapt to the Lucha Libre style is not for everybody. And the big thing with him was they were saying, he's not great at catching people. Well, how many times do you have to catch people in New Japan as opposed to CMLL? So I do think, I think that, being back in this organization, wrestling with guys that wrestle his style and getting back into it, we're like 6 months into his return. And he, like you said, he's already starting to look like a more accomplished performer right now. I could see another 6 months he's going to be a real danger in that junior division. And I was thinking about this also during the show. Like a couple of years ago, it felt like the only two guys in that junior division were Kushida and Hiromu, right? But now it feels like they've got a stacked roster in that division again. You've got Robbie Eagles, you've got El Desperado. You've got Hiromu, you've got Taguchi, who can always step up at any time, and you've got you've got Ishimori in there, and then you've got Wato, who's coming on strong. So I really like their junior division right now.
Yeah, it's building up, especially when you look at Wato and you see like how quickly he's progressing. And for me, another one is Sho. He screams star to me. Like he does, but I don't want him in the junior division. Yeah, like he was. I want to say he was the number one guy that I was sad wasn't in the G1 this year. I mean, it was a really good G1. It's not like the G1 suffered because of it, but just because he screams star to me, and his little dabblings in like matches against Shingo, that they were. Yeah, he's really kind of for me when he entered the Rambo, like he just felt like as soon as he enters, like this guy's a big deal. He feels like a star, but he just gets tossed out. It's like, oh well, but it still feels like a star to me.
I've heard people say that he's 4 inches too short to be a heavyweight star, and I'm like, God, he's so good though.
I don't think that's an issue in New Japan. I think he'll be all right. That's not going to be a problem.
No, I mean, and he'll definitely be a star in the junior division. Like I really thought, I really think that a year from now we're going to be talking about Sho versus Hiromu in the main event, or not the main event necessarily, but as the junior heavyweight championship match of Wrestle Kingdom.
I mean, if we're thinking of what's the main event going to be, if they do a junior main event, I mean, Hiromu versus Sho, not the worst thing in the world.
No, not at all.
I mean, they could use this to like Best of Super Juniors. Could use that to elevate Sho. I mean, I've said that for the past 2 years, I think. But eventually, Sho's going to get his push, right? He just screams it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Well,
I'm looking forward to it.
And Desperado's going to also. We have to have faith in those things happening.
There's an event going down.
Sorry, I lost my headphone there for a second. I had to let my puppy outside.
Anyway, but yeah, so you're bringing up Desperado. Yeah, El Desperado by far had the better of the funky butt man in this match. Desperado in the end.
That sounds so weird.
But it's a phrase I can only say in wrestling. It's not weird. I mean, it's weird, but still. Desperado planting the man with the Pinche Loco, and the champs retain. Well, I think that caught a lot of people by surprise. There were a lot of predictions of Wato and Taguchi winning, and for me, they just don't really have that much of a division going on. So I guess champions of what division if they were to win? So yeah,
right.
Yes, I think we've got one more match to go, haven't we?
Sure.
Yes, sure. So. The King of Pro Wrestling 2021, Bushi versus Chase Owens versus Bad Luck Fale versus Toru Yano kicked off the show, and when it ended, the reaction that I saw seemed to be, right now, the show can actually start now. So it was a bit of a weird one. Was a Yano-fueled 4-man match ever going to go differently? No.
I don't think so. No. It was silly and it was dumb and it was just, it was what you would expect. And Chase and Chase, so I mean, it just ends with Chase and Fale arguing with each other and Yano getting the double low blow, and then somehow Bushi was just completely killed by that move, so he couldn't even get up after that. 35 seconds after he got hit with that grenade launcher, he still couldn't get up, and so Yano gets the easy pinfall.
The chat is just reminding me, Hiromu is now a 4-time junior champion, and just in terms of accomplishing everything in the division, they brought that up as well, and that was part of pushing the main event thing, was just because he's accomplished everything. There's only one thing now to accomplish. That's becoming the main event.
Right.
So, yeah. But yeah, Toru Yano, the master cheater, could you call him? He took advantage, I think it will say. Like the Bullet Club lads, they tried the numbers advantage. But both Bushi and Yano have a certain amount of guile and were, like, by themselves able to find a way out. I say Yano found a way out. He spent most of the match at ringside. just when the club's teamwork paid off, Farley kicked the legs from under Chase. Dissension in the ranks. Or, as I like to call it, it's Yano time, suckers. In he comes. The duo turning on the referee, making it his fault. Yano slides in with the double fist handle as Kevin's monitor goes out. It's like, oh no, his monitor's gone out. Oh, we can't call it. And
okay. I hate that thing. I hate that gimmick where his monitor goes out every time Yano uses a low blow. So dumb.
I liked Chris Charlton just like, oh, but the plexiglass we kind of got to protect us. It's really difficult to see through every now and then. It's just like, I just got a blur on it just then. I had to wipe it so I didn't see. So I didn't like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they turned on the duo. Oh, the double fist handle as I donned it. Kevin's monitor goes out. Chris has to clean his glass. And Rocky was mysteriously silent. And they stole the pin on Bushi, who was down for, a minute? After
something like that, yeah.
Like Chase O's band up far, they should get in that tag division if their double team is that devastating. They'll just tag out all over. Oh,
what
yeah.
tag division?
We literally just said the sentence, champions of what division? Beef it out. But yeah, the King of Pro Wrestling stays with Yano for 2021. My prediction...
And Yano wins 2 matches at Wrestle Kingdom, being in the ring for a total of 4 minutes.
We're watching a master at work. Fair to say. Suzuki as well, apparently. He was in the Rambo for 4 minutes, and he then got eliminated with the safest bump ever, and was like, well, pay me now, please, thank you. Off goes Suzuki. Right. He's a master at work as well. But yeah, I predicted the King of Pro Wrestling would take a different turn this year. And maybe it's after Yano, you kind of emphasise how a different champion would give such a completely different vibe. But no, sticking with Yano. You can change it from opponent to opponent. I'll be honest, I've not really keyed into the King of Pro Wrestling. I know it's there. When I say I don't really get it, I feel like if it's slotting into this lower card fodder, then that's fine. It's just a bit weird that they had Okada announce it from the get-go, but if it falls to this area, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, it makes sense for Yano to win, and it's because then that way somebody actually has to defeat him one-on-one for it at some point. Who it's going to be, who knows? But
I'm just having a bit of a moment as I finish my Coca-Cola can and my headphones fall off my head because I've got to tilt back so much. Let's get the end of it.
Straw man, I'm telling you.
He's a genius. It cancels out all of the problems I've had. Every one of them. Anyway, we've actually blasted through this show. I think it's purely because we didn't spend the first 15 minutes talking about how fantastic the overall show was. We got to the point, which is rare for Jen and I.
It is.
Yeah, in the past, I mean, to be fair, normally when we've had Jeff on as well, that's when we enter Tangent Land and our shows are over 2 hours. But without him, we're on point. It's just amazing. But yes, kicking off...
let's blame Jeff. That works.
Kicking off the new year, the only way we know how, with Wrestle Kingdom, 2 nights, 2 amazing nights, especially this one. The main event was amazing. Ibushi is God now. Like, yes, he is God. And I'm really looking forward to what happens next. It feels like a different dynamic in New Japan, because we've had the really long reign of Okada, then we've had the year of Naito, kind of. Like, finally, you got your year of Naito after it being proclaimed for years that this will be the year of Naito. Then he loses. And finally, he's done it. We finally got it, kind of. Yeah, he finally gets it, then there's a bloody pandemic. So we don't get the year of Naito. Like, that must suck. But yeah, now we get the year of the God, Kota Ibushi. Assumably, if he doesn't immediately lose to Sanada, which I doubt. Give him God. Make him feel like God. Like, you really got to be at an amazing level to beat him. That's what I'd do.
I doubt that he loses immediately with Sanada also, but I wouldn't mind it because I love Sanada.
Anyway, again, thank you for Jan for staying up at this crazy hour that it is now currently 7 a.m. for him. So he's going to crash or play with his dogs, or both at the same time. He can do that. Anyway, so that is Jan. Have you got all your things you want to plug?
Yeah, listen to King of Honor when you feel like it. Whenever we do a show, we usually doing shows on Sunday mornings these days, just because it fits better with our schedule. We'll probably be talking about Wrestle Kingdom and New Year's Evil and Dynamite's night one of Holiday Smash. And I don't know if you saw the card, Jeff, or I'm sorry, Em, but this year, like, New Year's Evil looks like an amazing show Wednesday night. So I'm planning on watching that tomorrow night.
I've completely checked out of wrestling. I completely forgot that I've come back from Wrestle Kingdom, but I completely forgot that those two shows are happening tomorrow.
Okay.
Tonight? Is that tonight? No, it's tomorrow. Today's Tuesday.
Tomorrow, yeah. It's Wednesday night. So tomorrow night we've got Kyle O'Reilly versus Finn Balor 2 happening at New Year's Evil.
That's right up Jan's street.
Absolutely.
What I know about him, that match could not be more up his street. You can also follow him on Twitter at JammanLOP. You can follow me on Twitter at the Damn Implicat. That's damn as in damn. You can check out my WWE weekly reviews on Monday Night Raw and NXT, where I've taken a few weeks off. I will not be covering Raw tonight because I've watched Wrestle Kingdom. I'm not about to watch a 3-hour Raw. I'm sorry, I have a life. I'm not about to do that. So I'll be back.
Wasn't Raw last night anyway?
I go live the day after. So because I'm English,
gotcha.
I'm not mental enough to stay up every week to watch WWE live. I feel so sorry for the people who watch it live. But yeah, so I'll do the review the next day. Same with NXT as well. And I was planning on leaving NXT till next week as well, but I had completely forgotten it's New Year's Evil. So I'll be covering that on Thursday instead.
There you go.
Yeah, so there's that. I've also been going live on Twitch, streaming video game stuff. I've been going live with YouTuber Wrestling Shorts on his channel as well. I think I'll be on his channel tomorrow playing some FIFA with him. So you want to watch just more of me just casually playing a football game. I say casually playing. We're online, going for the top division online together. So it won't be casual. But we will be playing that. Yesterday I started streaming Yakuza 0, one of my favourite games of this generation. Really love the Yakuza games. They're in Japanese and weird and super serious at the same time. So yeah, watch me flip between emotions of really enjoying going dancing before you get a really emotional soliloquy, essentially. But yeah, so that's on my own channel. That's the Implications with 2 S's on the end on Twitch. I think that's everything. Columns over at Laws of Pain is currently a competition where I think getting the names in for the competition. I think it's like a last man standing column writing competition down in the forums. If you want to join in on that massive competition, you can. I think loads of like the main page writers from Wrestling Headlines will be taking part, and writers from the past as well. And I guess all the long-term names who have stuck around because a lot of the former main page writers stick around but just hang out in the forums. So you can go there. And
I used to. I'm not anymore.
I made it to the main page and I just never looked back. I'm so busy. I go when I remember, which is like once a quarter, I think.
I'm so old that I remember when you used to write in the forums. So.
That was 4 years ago. I wrote my first 5 years ago. Jesus, 5 years ago I wrote my first ever column. So that was. The server's died, so it doesn't exist on there anymore. But I did write it. That's it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, resets. Yeah, I have to reset it every so often.
This most recent one, the person that the site owner was paying to keep up like a backup server just in case this happened, they weren't doing the backup server. So
lovely.
Yeah, so so with new people now. Yes, yeah, fair to say. I can't remember. Conveniently, I can't remember the name, so I can't slander anybody. But yeah, whoever it was. But anyway, that was the review of an amazing Wrestle Kingdom. Once again, getting me amped, and I can't wait to watch a nice, calm show at New Year's Dash just to see the aftermath of New Year's Dash. I got confused. New Year's Evil. Yeah, so also tomorrow, starting with New Year's Dash, ending with New Year's Evil, and of course there's the New Year's from AEW as well. Like,
right,
a lot of wrestling over these next couple of days. So yeah, we won't be live after New Year's Dash. I'll instead watch that, then go straight into covering NXT and I guess AEW. Jesus Christ, I'm not gonna have a live tomorrow. But yeah, so I'll be live on. Oh wait, no, I can't. I'm an idiot because I watched them on Thursday, so I do get a day break. Yes, there we go. I forgot that I'm not going to watch them live because again, I'm English. I'd like to go to bed, please.
So, all right, yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm assuming Jan would like the same thing. So, with that, I bid you adieu. Say thank you for watching, listening, subscribing. If it's on YouTube, clicking the bell, rating it on Thingamabob. On RedCircle, you can donate to Wrestling Headlines on RedCircle, as in to help us out with this radio thing, to help us keep providing this. The link is, I think it's just on the page. I think I've linked it to... I need to link it just in the comments here. It's in the description. I keep forgetting to do that. Anyway, so with that, I say thank you for listening. Bid you adieu, and Jan bids you...
Long days, pleasant nights, folks.
Yeah, the first outro, which isn't awkward when I throw it over to them because they got something prepared. Jan's professional. I like the awkward silence of, I say goodbye.
No awkwardness here.
Adios.